What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the Chicago Bulls have imposter syndrome because it seems like every time we have a winnable game, those are the games that we end up kind of becoming frauds and we kind of become a shell of what a team that we can be. It's all fine and good to beat a great team. It's all fine and good to beat teams away from home, but when it comes down to it, at home, against the Atlanta Hawks, second night of a back-to-back, to be fair, we become imposters, we become frauds, we become a shell of ourselves. Now, again, if we were closer in the game, I might not be so upset. It's the fact that we got destroyed, and half the players on that Atlanta Hawks team, I mean, not half, that's a bit of a stretch, but there's a lot of guys on that team that you don't expect to cook you, that absolutely cooked you. And some of them I don't know, to be honest. I'm not going to lie about that. So let's talk about the disaster that was the Bulls versus the Hawks. Before we get any further, if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more from me, feel free to drop a like, follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, their game today, and your player of the game. To be honest, there's not really too much I want to say about the player of the game side of things, but we lost the game 110-94. Again, a walking embarrassment the Bulls were today. Defensively, offensively, heck, even in the timeouts, I'm just going to say they were embarrassing. Every single step of the way, the Bulls disappointed. We are a fraud of a team. Sometimes. Not every time, but the Bulls are like 1-5 in their last 6 home games. Do you know how embarrassing that is? Not only to themselves, but to the home crowd. I mean, I think this is our biggest home stretch of the season. And we've disappointed in every single one of them. I don't know why. I might have to make another video about this some point in the future. But it's actually embarrassing how bad we are at home. And you know what? It's also embarrassing when we get teams that are winnable. I know Atlanta are 21-19 plus 500, but there's no Trae Young. There's barely anyone that we recognize on that team, at least from a star standpoint. And those are the guys that destroyed us here. You know, I want to tell you a story that happened today. At work, basically, during my lunch break, I was kind of just checking the score, watching the game, and we were getting smacked at that time. I think the game might have even been over at that point. And a guy at work, he goes for Philly, he's also on his lunch break, and he's basically telling me, do you know who this guy is? Do you know who that guy is? And nothing came to mind. I didn't know who any of these guys were. Basically talking about Wallace and Daniels and all these other guys. Look, now that I see them, I know who they are. But ultimately, at that time, my mind wasn't focused on basketball. I just checked the score and that was it. And he said, those are the guys that kind of cooked you today. Do you think I want to hear that at work? Do you think I want to hear that at work? The Bulls getting destroyed and I have to hear about it on my lunch break, bro. Like, no. No. Why do the Bulls bring such pain even when I'm not paying attention to them? That is the type of frustration I had to deal with today. And then watching the game, oh my goodness. Was it such a drag to actually watch this game? I want to apologize to every single person at the United Center today watching that game, that had an investment in that game, that paid money to see that game. I'm not saying you wasted your money, but I'm pretty sure I can comfortably say you wasted the time. You could have been doing something else because the Bulls didn't come to deliver today. And the Bulls don't deliver at home at all. And it's embarrassing because at the end of the day, whether we're a good team or a bad team, what's the number one thing you want from the Bulls team? There's 2 things that come to mind. Competitiveness and entertainment. Those are the 2 things I want. It's the bare minimum. Playoffs, miss the playoffs, honestly, I don't care. If we miss the playoffs, we get a pick out of it most likely. I'm happy with that. If we make the playoffs, excellent. We're in the playoffs. Who doesn't want to be in the playoffs? Either way, I'm happy, right? Right now, that game was not entertaining and it was not competitive. And it's at home. And there's too many of these ones at home. Too many losses at home. Too many bad clutch performances at home. The Pelicans game we could have won. The Kings game we could have won. And we blew it away. And then this game comes around and it's a punch in the gut. It's a kick in the nuts. That's what it feels like. So I'm sorry. I'm not defending the Bulls for this one. I could defend them against the Kings. It was a close game. I could defend them against the Pelicans. It's a good Pelicans team when they're all healthy. This one there's no defense for. There was no Trae Young in the game. And we got destroyed. Ayo came back for no reason. I was probably thinking, oh my goodness, Trae Young is playing. It's my time to shine. I'm going to return today. He returned to no Trae Young and we got smacked up, bro. We got punched multiple times and we took it. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. And I'm sure everybody is saying it, and I'll say it as well. That was one of the worst losses of the season, and I don't even think it's close. So shame on the Chicago Bulls for that type of piss-poor effort. I don't care about the second night of a back-to-back. The only thing I care about is that we're still taking care of Lonzo's health because he didn't play in this game. And he's not playing back-to-backs the entire season, it seems like. Other than that, there's no excuse. There is no fathomable explanation that you could give to me that makes me understand what the Bulls did today and how they approached the game. Once again, another game where, look, maybe this doesn't happen a lot to be fair, but no one cracked 20 points today. The only positive is that the bench production was not bad. Ayo off the bench had 9 points. Bazelis off the bench had 8 points. Julian Phillips off the bench had 10 points. Jalen Smith off the bench had 5 points. So very good bench production. But again, we kind of needed that Zach LaVine 30-plus point run. We kind of needed Coby White to get into the 20-point range. We needed Vucevic to play a little bit better than the 14 points that he did. And you know what? Again, we do need to rely on these guys because they're our superstars, but I don't like the possibility of thinking if Zach LaVine doesn't drop 30 in the game, we're going to lose. I don't like thinking like that, but that seems to be the direction that we're going in. If Zach LaVine can't get the 30 points, we don't come close in these games. And then you have to rely on guys like Coby White or Vucevic to step up. And so far, at least with Coby White's standpoint, his step-ups have been very inconsistent. Sometimes he can deliver, sometimes he doesn't. Vucevic, he's a consistent guy, but he's not going to be a guy that gives you 30 on any given night. He just hasn't been that guy for a long time, if ever. I'm sorry. Right now, it feels like a one-man team. If Zach LaVine is scoring, we will win the game. I'm not saying it's a one-man team because Josh Giddey is a very good playmaker, very good rebounder. Coby White is facilitating. I think he had 6 assists today, Coby White. Vucevic is a double-double machine. It's definitely not a one-man team. But it definitely feels like if that one man, Zach LaVine, doesn't score a hefty amount of points, we are in trouble. That's what it feels like. And that's exactly what we saw. So, a punch to the gut, not acceptable, disappointing. No player of the game deserved in this one. 94 points on the game, getting smacked up by a team that we should be beating, especially at home. No player of the game is deserved. In fact, the player of the game goes to the Atlanta Hawks. Because again, I'm sitting here giving them respect. That's what I'm doing. Last game when they beat us, I respected that. Because they dropped 50 points in the fourth quarter and they smashed the Bulls in that one quarter to win the game. We were dominant the entire game, but a 50-point quarter sealed the win for them. And I can't help but respect that. This game, they didn't have their star player and they still delivered. I have to respect that. I don't like how Atlanta plays. It's no secret. But at least I can respect that they fought in this game. Whereas the Bulls, I don't see the fights. It hurts. It hurts. Again, if we're going to lose, go out swinging. Don't go out like that. Don't go out basically giving up, waving the white flag. You beat before you even start the game. Again, this is probably another roll out of bed and thinking you can win mentality type of thing, isn't it? Maybe. Anyway, that's all I got to say. That's all I want to say. To be honest, I didn't want to make this video, but we got game reactions to talk about. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.